Hi guys, so today we're gonna be solving for x. So without further ado, let's start with our question 1, which says solve for x. So we have a here that says x, open bracket, to x plus 3 close bracket is equal to 0, right? So we are here to solve the x. This one is quite easy. That's why it's the first thing that we're gonna start with, right? So we already know that we are working with equation, right? So our first thing we're gonna work out with this x is already equal to 0, right? So we're gonna go like x is equal to 0, which is this 0, or our x plus 3 is equal to 0, which is this one, right? Followed by x is equals to negative 3. So the reason why it's negative is because anything that goes on the right hand side, it's gonna change, right? So here it's positive. When you get on the right hand side, it's gonna be negative, right? So yeah, there we are with our first problem. So now we're gonna move to B. So now moving into our B, if we see that we only have two values, right, which is 2x squared is equals to 32. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna divide both sides by 2. Okay, so we can write it, we can write it down here like 2x squared is equals to 30. Oh my god, it's equals to 32, right? So we're gonna divide both sides by 2. We're gonna say divide by 2, divide by 2, right? So this 2 is gonna cancel this 2, gonna be left with x squared. We're gonna be left with x squared is equals to, so 32 divided by 2 is equals to 16, right? So we're gonna write our 16. Okay, so now that we have simplified to this step, we're gonna make sure that we make it to equal to 0, right? So it's gonna be x squared. Because it's positive this side, it's gonna be negative on the other side, so it's gonna be negative 16 is equals to 0. So now when we get to this point, we're gonna factorize the difference of the 2 square, right? So it means 2 square, we're gonna have 2 brackets, so it's gonna be open bracket, right? So it's gonna be x and x, right? 2 square, right? It's gonna be negative on the other side, and other side it's gonna be positive because we are working with the difference of 2 squares. So now that we have come to this point, we're gonna write factors of 16, product of 16, sorry, which is 4 and 4, right? When you multiply 4 by 4, it gives you 16. Negative 4 multiplied by positive 4, it's going to give you 16. So now that we have our two factors, we're gonna equals to 0, right? So we know that it's x minus 4, which is this one, is equals to 0, right? Or x plus 4 is equals to 0, which is this side. So let's start with this side. We're gonna be x is equals to, when you get to the other side, it's gonna be positive, which is 4, right? So on this side it's gonna be x is equals to negative 4. So now we have found our answers. We have found that this side is negative 4 and on the other side is 4, right? So we're gonna move to the next now moving to C, right? So our C says 3x plus 1 over x is equals to 4. So we have realized that we have a fraction, right? So now that we have a fraction, we're gonna multiply throughout with x to get rid of this denominator, right? So it means we're gonna multiply everything to get rid of the denominator. So we're gonna say, oh my god, we're gonna say x multiply by 3x, which is this, right? Then we're gonna say positive x multiply by 1 over x, right, is equals to x multiply by 4, right? So because now we have this, so now that we have this, it's gonna be our next step. It's gonna be like 3x squared, because x multiplied by 3x, it's gonna give you 3 squared, right? Bringing down our positive. So x multiplied by this, it's gonna cancel this x, right? So it's gonna cancel. It's gonna cancel the x, right? Then we are left with 1, right? Is equals to x multiplied by 4. It's gonna give you 4x, right? So now we're gonna make everything to be equals to 0, right? So it's gonna be 3x squared. It's positive here, so it's gonna be negative 4x plus our 1, which is here, is equals to 0, right? So now that we are here, we're gonna factorize with trinomial, right? We're gonna factorize with our trinomial. Okay, so with our trinomial, we're gonna say 3 multiplied by 1, right? It's gonna be this positive 3, which is here. This one is just another step. Gonna be this positive 1 multiplied by 1 multiplied by positive 1, which gives us 3. So now that we know that our middle value is 4, right, and we have 3 here, we're gonna be like 3 factors of 3. No, product of 3 is 3, which is 3 multiplied by 1, right? Is 3 multiplied by 1. Kind of makes sense because we can say minus 3 minus 1 equals to minus 4, which is here, right? So moving it to the next step, we're gonna say 3x squared minus 3x minus x. We're not gonna write 1 here, so it's gonna be minus x plus 1 is equals to 0. So with this, our common factor here is 3x, right? I don't know what I was doing with this pen. It's just giving me problem. Okay, either way, let's continue. It's going to be 3x, open bracket. What's the remaining here? It's 1x, right? Minus 1. This has been replaced, right? Because it was common factor. So we're going to close our bracket and say negative 1. There's 1 here that is not written. So we're going to have x minus 1 is equals to 0. The reason why we have minus 1 is because negative 1 multiplied by negative 1, it's going to give you positive 1. Okay, so now we're going to say x minus 1, which is this, and 3x minus 1 is equals to 0, right? So now that we have come to this so far, we know that x minus 1 is equals to 0, or 3x minus 1 is equals to 0. So here it's x is equals to positive 1. When you get to the other side, it's going to be positive. On this side, we're going to say 3x is equals to 1, right? So now that we're looking for x, we're going to say we're going to divide by 3, divide by 3, then this cancel this. Then now our x is equals to 1 over 3, right? So yeah, there we are with our C, right? So if you have any other question that you would like for me to do, just follow me on Instagram. Then you can be sending me pictures of any question paper so we can try to solve it together. Okay, so moving into our last question. So moving to our last problem, what we have here is 2 to the square root of x minus 3 is equals to x minus 3, right? So if you see the square root, we're just going to square the both sides. So it's going to be like 2. I'm trying not to cover up with the camera, but it's like I'm failing either way. It's going to be 2 to the square root of x minus 3, right? So we are squaring the both side as well as the side x minus 3. You're going to square this side, right? So because now we have squared this side, it's going to be 2 to the exponent 2. It gives us 4, right? Square root is going to be cancelled by this one. So now we're going to be left with the bracket with our x minus 3. The square root has been cancelled by this one as well as this side, because this is 2, right? Everything is been squared, right? So we're gonna say x minus 3, x minus 3, because they are 2, so we just write them, simplify them, right? So moving to the next step, we're gonna solve everything by 4 multiplied by x is equals to 4x. 4 multiplied by negative 3, it's going to give us negative 12, right? Is equals to x multiplied by x is going to be x squared. X multiplied by negative 3, it's going to be negative 3x. 3 multiplied by 3 by x is going to be negative 3x. Negative 3 multiplied by negative 3, it's going to give us a positive 9, right? So now that we have reached this step, we're going to make sure that we equals to 0, right? We can either equals to 0 this side or the other side. So because there's a lot of numbers on this side, we can make use of the side. Okay, so we can say 0 is equals to x squared, this one, minus 3x minus 3x, it gives us minus 6x minus 4x, which is this one, right? We're trying to group all the x's first, which is this one, plus our 9. When it gets to the side, it's going to be plus 12, right? So 0 is equals to x squared minus 6 minus 4 is going to give us minus 10x, right? Plus 9 plus 12 is going to give us plus 21, right? 0 is equals to, so now that we have gotten to this level, we're going to factorize, right? So you know how we factorize up to so far. It's going to be our 1 multiplied by 21, which gives us 21, right? So now because we have 21 and we want 7 here, no, sorry, we our middle value is 10. 21, product of 21 can also be 7 times 3, it gives us 21, right? So minus 7 minus 3 gives us minus 10, right? X squared minus 7x minus 3x plus 21, which is our 21. 0 is equals to, our common factor here is x minus 7. It's going to be x minus 7 and minus 3x minus 7 minus 3 multiplied by minus 7, it gives us 21. Remember here, 7 multiplied by 3 give us 21, right? So 0 is equals to x minus 7 x minus 3, right? So now we're going to say x minus 7 is equals to 0, or x minus 3 is equals to 0. So x is equals to 7 or x is equals to 3, right? So what we're going to do next, we're going to make sure that we check if our answers are correct, right? So we're going to say check your answer, right? So we're going to start with, we can only just do one, right? But you as well, you can just pause the video and do it on your own. So we're gonna just take the left side, right? It's gonna be 2 to the square root of x minus 3, which is equals to 2 to the square root of 7. This 7 minus 3 is equals to 4, right? This is left hand side. So now we're going to check our right hand side, right? Which is x minus 3, right? So we're gonna say x minus 3 is equals to 7, right? 7 minus 3 is equals to 4. So you see our answers are the same, so it means we got correct. So thank you guys for watching. We'll be doing more of the videos. Keep subscribing so we can get a good grade. So thank you so much. See you in my next video. Don't forget to like, to share with other students. Sharing is caring, sharing is love. Thank you so much, guys.